Hello everybody. Welcome to our Friday stream. I hope everybody's doing well. I certainly am. Uh, it's cold still. It's in the -20s over here, so I hope those listening are having a better time wherever they are and not feeling cold. It's a wee bit freezing, if I'm being fully honest. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed your weekend. Had a nice Friday. You know how we do it in these streams. We're gonna be breaking down some work of an artist. We'll talk about the artist very soon, as you can see from the title. But before, you know how we do it, little intro. If you ever want to get in contact with me, you can tag me in the Metakey Discord and the Duat Residency channel over there, and I'll respond to you. Or if you'd like to get in contact with me over on Discord, you can tag me at Anubis_3100, and I'll respond to you over there. But anyways, as you can see from the title of the work, we're going to be looking at the work of nocellcoverage today. This is their Twitter account. Go give it a follow. I've seen their work a couple of times actually when I first entered the space. And well, not when I first entered the space, a bit later when I entered the space, and then I was looking at it again when Roswell was bidding on it today. For those who are curious, Roswell is another fellow artist and producer, music producer, I think, in the space. But yeah, and so I thought, let's look at their foundation work today. Their foundation is pretty nice, and as you can see from this work, it's very nice, pretty aesthetic work. So right here, first link you go to, it's nocellcoverage. And then I believe this is their second project that's currently ongoing, but we're going to be looking at digitization. I think it's actually a really good project, and there's sort of a lot of stuff. Well, not a lot of stuff, but like sort of big themes happening within the works. And so I quickly wanted, do little 6 or 7 pieces, and so let's go to the first one. Pretty good ones. Need for that. Let's go for this one. This seems pretty interesting. Yeah, it's, as you can see, the work already has a very visible style. Just taking a little sip from my thing. Jump into the first thing we clicked on, and so it's sort of well, now that I realize that I've selected a bunch from here, well, actually 2. Yeah. So we'll look at digitization. This one is digitization. I gotta lower the music. It's a bit too loud on my end. Yeah, let me just, I'm gonna check chat real quick just to be safe. Oh boy. Wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, so we are looking at Digitization XL. Digitization is an ongoing archive of non-digital and materials to digital format. This project will continue to evolve, and you can read more about the project here, digitization.wiki. So let's do that. It's the same description. So you click on things, Bermuda Triangle. Digitization is the process of converting information into a digital form. To digital data. Digitization is an archive of non-digital analog materials stored on the blockchain. Through this process, we can provide a means to preserving the content of the materials, creating an accessible facsimile of the object. Facsimile? An exact copy, especially of written or printed material. It was very interesting, given just like the style of this, right? Because of it's sort of, I mean, digitization has been sort of happening in the space for a while, and you can sort of tackle digitization, right? As we just sort of read the definition of simile, right? Where it's like just reproduce something online, just copy it. But also in this space, we've been getting just because of the infusion of sort of the infusion of video game tech and video game tech and software with digital art, right? Getting sort of digitization through 3D modeling, through photogrammetry, photo scanning, 3D scanning, all that jazz, right? And so we really don't. These are photo scan materials. Certain photo scan materials have a look to them, right? But this is also another way of, tackling digitization, right? Which is just like a video showcasing what the thing is, almost as if you're going through a nature museum. Because if anybody here or anybody listening has gone through a nature museum, you'll see this literal sort of display of butterflies and insects just pinned to sort of canvas on a frame, and that's it. And that's all you sort of see. You can't really walk around it. So this also sort of imitates that. Take a while to load. It must be pretty cool. But this sort of imitates that. Right? You going from left to right or right to left and viewing it, and you don't get to see the back, but it also sort of accentuates the details that we as people sort of associate with all these different like insects and flowers when we're gonna look at the other project, right? And so it's quite a nice work. What is it? It's probably really good quality. It's taking its long, right? And it's like looking at it, you can see like there's a pixelation grid. I don't know if you can see it. You sort of can, yeah. But so right there's sort of a pixelation grid that's overlaid on top of this. So part of me thinks that these are like legit, like sharper 3D scan models, or sharper 3D models, right? With just the pixelation element, which itself, is actually a nice aesthetic, right? I'm also noticing the hue. I just wanted to loop if it could fucking, 2 seconds? It's stopping at 2 seconds of loading, Second. This work earlier, right? It sort of reminded me also of the early video game 1 graphics, right? Like PlayStation 1 graphics and all that jazz. That's not a good thing to look at. Like, this sort of graphic, or this sort of graphic, the blocky nature, right? And the very limited. This is a good photo, actually. It's pretty sharp. But this sort of blocky nature, right? Or like, I personally like Resident Evil, right? That I don't know if Resident Evil came on the PS1. Original game, right? This sort of look right here. It's very pixelated, and it's like, I mean, I personally enjoy it, and so this is also why I'm sort of drawn to this, because it feeds on that nostalgia, like gamer feel, if you will, like that 90s gamer feel. early 2000s gamer feel. Right? You sort of can't neglect that in the early sort of sense of digitization. I mean, look at this, right? This is sort of very 2000s internet vibes. Great pyramids. That's where that's where I'm from. You guys can't see it down low there. Here, let me remove. Go down here where the mouse is. This is certain locations of the world in this. So it has the Bermuda Triangle, Roswell, Easter Island, and the Great Pyramids, which is great because I live 30 minutes away walking from those. They my boys. Them my boys right there. And that's not lie. It's actually it's wild to me that I managed to live 30 minutes away, 20 minutes if you speed it up, you know. Also, from theories. Like yeah, you grew up watching that shit from the balcony and the rooftops. It's wild to think about now. Yeah, so this was Digitization XL, right? This one is Digitization 31. View metadata. I mean, we're sort of facing the same problem as before. Week's breakdown work. I know this is sort of, I would call this a yellow beetle, but I wish we knew the names. Here, it sort of doesn't matter. You can call this Digitization Excel because it's a showcase of different species and different stuff. But with something like this, I wish we had like the name of the species, right? Because like Loki, it sort of contradicts the whole effort of the digitization process if you can't look upon the digitization and find the information on what's being digitized. You know? So it's like nothing else is view collection that just takes you to foundation. Literally, there is nothing else on the site. You know? What is this? Davensville is an interactive visual designer. What's your work like, sir? Oh, okay. This. Yeah, that's just the same thing. So we sort of know the person behind the website is an artist focusing on the emergence of technology and the human relationship with the natural world. Oh, excuse me, you see this? Sorry, I think I may have gone. 1 second, I gotta do this off screen real quick. Just claim in my little ENS is a fucking blessing. This is, we see from the profile here, right? Focusing on the emergence of technology, and we can sort of see that through the description of the work and such. But again, and I don't mean to be cruel. I still like the work, but if we're gonna focus on digitization, and we don't want everything to essentially just fall down to visual aesthetics, we need to include far more information in this because literally there's no information. I don't even know how. Like this is a yellow beetle, right? Yellow beetle. Sorry if you're. I was like, seriously, I'm getting the fucking car and not the insect. So no, that's the fuck is that? Is it this? I mean, it's great that I'm being sent on this chase, but see, it's not exactly that. So I have. Could be this one. 5 horn. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think we might be staring at a 5 horn beetle. I'm not sure, right? But again, I wish there was sort of. The video's taking a while. Internet's being kind of slow. I sort of wish there was, um, yeah, a description with the details about this, because legit, this is all tackled about bringing these non-analog, non-digital aspects into the digital, and so the one thing it can't be lacking is the information, right? It just can't. It's like it's the whole point of this, right? And it's like sort of can be different, right? Where it's like you don't really need to include certain information if you don't want to as an artist, but in a project specifically like this, you should. Right? I think you need to, because it's like, sorry, I keep scrolling because I'm just thinking. It's like this is nice, right? This is titled 30 digitization number 37. And again, it says non-digital analog materials, and it says it's a butterfly. Cool, nice. What species of butterfly? That would have been cool, right? I mean, digitization 37 name. I'm a bit confused. Oh, they're actually all called digitization. Yeah, it's a bit weird. But nonetheless, it's like, again, right? You can see the grid. And I still like the visual element and the nostalgic feel of it. I really do. And also, this might be just because of the synthwave music and it's like the vaporwave vibes of it, but it also has like a very nice like vaporwave. That ties into the nostalgia element. It's a very nice vaporwave feel to it as well. Um, it's as far as I can fucking go. Like butterfly, thanks. You know, like which one? And there are thousands. You know, like fairy moths. I don't. I just want butterfly. So, I mean, look how many there are. Like, holy shit. I don't even know. So, yeah, we sort of. It's a shame to leave it said. Uh, so, on to the next one. I mean, like, yeah, it's. I really can't say too much about them. It's very nice. These two pieces are owned by Roswell. He has a good taste, and I really like this, but I don't know what flower this is. I feel like just the pixelated look is very nice, and the certain like the bloom that's going around right here and here. It's also just because you can see it in pixels. It's also very aesthetically pleasing. This is digitization. So, numero Excel 43. So Excel is 40. So we were looking. First one is digitization 40. I was like, Excel, like large digitization. Let's go. But no, it's 43. Is there really 43? Digitization archive. Mission holds. Oh, 7 that have been burned? Oh, I guess it's approval shit, I guess. But why is this one called 43, but there's only 28? Well, maybe because it's an ongoing Untitled project, so they're just minting whatever scans they have, I guess, or whatever is done, but this is a bit of a weird one. It's like it's really great art, really nice. It looks amazing. Pixelation looks beautiful. The animation is nice and everything. Until you start to think deeply a little bit, and then you're like, hold on, where is the actual like again? And how is it? Shouldn't there be an order to the digitization? Why is this just jumping to 43? Right, look again. Well, we're on Resident Evil. The new world. 43. Yeah. So unless yeah, and it's a single one. So that's a bit it's a bit weird. Oh well. After this, we'll go through the Twitter. See what's going on because I'm yeah. I don't think that's a lavender tree because I know what lavender looks like, but it's a nice purple tree. And this one is digitization L3 53. So it's it. Uh, I don't know. I'm curious to those listening in the future if you like to comment below. Like, what do you guys think about this? This is a bit of we've sort of even for myself we've hit territory where I'm like, this is a bit weird. Yeah, and it's nice. It's aesthetically pleasing. Very good blue, and even around the green. Right, simple animation, and you can see the grid even from afar, the pixelation grid, right? And again, it hits the nostalgia effect, right? It hits the gamer sort of, yeah. When I say nostalgia, I'm talking about like the PS1 gamer old school graphics effect, all that jazz, right? And sort of part of me, well, I'm not fully certain, but with like 90% certainty, I can say that the pixelation is sort of happening on top of the actual model, just because of how it's moving. Pixelation, it's moving along the grid, not along the model itself, if that makes any sense. Right? A pixelated model moves differently than that, so yeah, so these are like, who knows, maybe the owner gets like a good high quality scan of some. Nothing about the project sort of indicates that. But yeah, again, right? Nice pixels, nice. You can see a really good sense of movement within them, right? Good lighting. Yeah. So this is the last one. Digitization 32. And for the I don't even know what this is. What sort of plant this is. But yeah, it's just again so far visually pleasing work. If we had more data, we could talk a little bit about it more. It would just like we've already talked about the concept enough. We actually have enough time to sort of close these and like quickly go through Burning Tulip because it was the other project I was looking at. They're all the same, sort of like it feels almost 3D rendered or maybe an image that's um sort of messed within Photoshop, but it is a video. It legitimately, it also could be a plant on fire. Could not just it just could be a plant in the wind and the fire around it. I say that because of the transparency of the fire, but the project what this project is it's burning till 4 and Terry's the much like the Promethean act of forging fire, burning a piece of work has a new meaning of blockchain. This still illustrates the indeterminate nature of arts and commerce, right? And it's sort of it's beautiful, but it's on fire, and there are multiple versions of it with different colors, right? And it just shows, like you don't know what's going on in the market, and also the indeterminate, like the sort of what is it, right? Indeterminate nature of buying art as well. You don't know if it's going to be valuable in the future, what this artist is going to keep making, right? And the presence of the of the digital nature of the work itself is emphasized by the mouse being there and clicking on it to play the actual video, right? Because the video starts as a still. It's pretty cool. It hasn't been. This one hasn't been bought. I mean, you can tell it's the same video, just different like color. What is it? Filters on it or whatever. Excuse me. And those are curious. Yeah, the Foundation's sort of new collection feature, right? It's its own smart contract again, right? Everything in the new Foundation is under its own smart contract. So it's like even for my own work here, this is its own smart right here. So it's which is nice. So you can find this on the blockchain if the Foundation ever goes down. But I just wish there was more details. And even I am guilty. I said this last time. Even I myself am guilty of this, but yeah, so it is a video of an actual plant on fire. It might be a plastic plant, so behind the scenes. It could be a flower, so now we know, and then yeah, with different filters on it. Yeah, so it is actually on fire. It's just the fire looks a bit hazy. It might be just the editing, right? And then if you scroll down, yeah, let me just go to their posted media actually. So that's sort of also what they're doing in the studio, and then it's like different techniques are used to archive the look of the series, but at some point me these releases look stylized but also maintain their natural beauty and integrity. Okay. Yeah, and see, as you can see, that's the actual sort of. There we go. Behind the scene process thread on the digitization series. A lot of people asked, and yes, these are actual real plants and insect, quite high level walkthrough below. So it starts with a flower, the insect shot on a colored spherical flowers are picked or sourced from a local nursery, and the insects come from a good friend whose creative hobby is taxidermy. Taxidermy. Uh, each piece is then carefully mounted and filmed using a rotating dolly to provide depth and life to each piece. Sort of, you would see the same thing, but with pins through the actual bugs on in an actual museum, right? And then once each piece is preserved digitally on camera, I use software to clean up each one, and the digitization begins. A couple of different techniques are used to archive the look of the series, but it's important to me that these pieces look stylized and maintain their natural beauty and integrity. We just read that, right? And then currently building a wiki for the series where you'll be able to. Okay, there we go. So it's coming. I guess it's in the works. So part of the since it's an ongoing project, right? A lot of my critiques, I guess, I might actually come back and check on this project a bit later, because if this is ongoing and will be updated, right, with more flora. Well, sorry, with like information about all of these, then it's actually served its purpose. But so far, it does not. But again, it wasn't launched until this, right? So it's still very early on its cycle. It's been like what, 2 months? I mean, it's a pretty cool project. I'm curious what else they'll digitize, right? Just because they're locally sourcing the plants, and the insects, they're getting them from a friend, right? So there is sort of a geological limitation to what's going on. And I'm just scrolling quickly, see what else they have, like, oh, what they have. They really like their pixelation. I really like the look of the pixelation as well. It's very nice. There's a bit of audio in there. So, so I guess this is part of their. These might have been burned or something. Who knows? I know these are still on Foundation. Reboot. Oh, okay, no. We're not touching any of those word games. Nah, thank you. Not after what fucking Blue did. I guess sort of before that, some of their inspiration or some of their image usage also came. They have collaborated with Roswell. I think I was looking at these earlier. And if those are curious, I'll do a video about Roswell's work later, actually, especially Memory, because I think Memory is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool project, but he himself has done a few collaborations, mainly just with nocellcoverage at all. And it's sort of, again, you hear the nostalgia vibe sort of hits massively, right? It's like floppy disks, pastel colors, like vaporwave colors, and then actual pictures of the bugs and shit. So it's very good, very well executed. So I'll read this. In the year 2093, humanity grasped at its last breath of air. The sky burns as the oceans rise and the land becomes increasingly inhabitable. Mankind's final attempt at preservation comes in a form of crystalline diskettes which hold a record of this creature. Each diskette contains a complete genetic sequence shot into space displayed as a hologram. Whoever or whatever holds these records holds a piece of Earth's history and its story. Noah's Ark 2093. So this is sort of the story behind the creation of these. And you hear you. I sort of like this a little bit better because we can understand what it's aimed for, and like again, that theme of preservation, right, and digitization comes back. Porcelain diskettes, right, and then displayed as holograms, and so it's present within that digital element and how humans interact with technology is present with all the. They do say that right in the front here. Artists focus on the emergence of technology and the human relationship uh, with the natural world, and in this case, it's the human relationship with the technology, right? Because they've created a lot, right? The FND pieces. Oh, these are still here. I guess the link is just not functioning. Then these are supposedly interactive. Connection. I know at this point we're sort of not like fully looking at all the works, but I didn't expect the digitization to sort of like lack that much detail, you know. So connection 03L. Connection is a cross-post interactive piece focus on the beauty of connection. The winner bidder of the first piece will receive the second and third as a collection. A modern play on Renee Magrette's Leggett. So, both privacy every personage is subject to voyeuristic and sometimes far-reaching technology. Big Brother has become the paparazzi of the common man, and any content can be commodified. Does this visual eavesdropping lead to safer community, or are these biometrics gathered for nefarious reasons? This piece casts David, whose popularity spans from antiquity to vogue, to illustrate the absurdity and compliance we all feel with these new developments. Upper priest who can tell by a face alone, like quality video can be viewed here. It's actually pretty cool. So like it's also like highly conceptual work. Like even just through the site. Our focus is an upcoming artist focus on the emergence of technology and the natural world. Our work focuses on human relationship with what is real and what is digital. Let's click on their Instagrams. Jeez. Eat this scroll. Oh, these are cool. So these are the things I think for AI. Oh, sorry, not AI, for VR, where they can actually like sort of utilize your own hand. Yeah, what is this? Save state. This composition juxtaposes analog and digital styles to represent the paradox we know as save state. So the save state are save states a truly human experience or some kind of liminal space between life and death? Will we be able to preserve our wonders naturally, or will future generations be dependent on the creation of save states? So behind the scene on save states. Save state is in a virtualization context is a way to store the current state of a virtual machine so that it's possible to return to that state quickly when desired. This could be a way for future generations to enjoy some of the world's dwindling organisms. You just read that. This piece raises the question: is preservation a sincere homage to memory or a centralized replica of a moment in time? The encased flowers represent the lack of habitat and the environmental stressors on honeybee populations. These as whole are representative of all nature's beauty and are whole, but be able to preserve them in both our nature and digital. This work juxtaposes analog and digital styles to represent the paradox we know as save states. 10% of the funds. Okay. It's actually I like the conceptuality behind. Oh wow. It's actually then mutualism. This piece is a meditation on the cycle of breathing. The breath serves as a metaphor for mutualism, and the respiration is eternally alluding to the continuous link between us and other organisms. Okay. Sort of the pixelated video of flowers blooming concepts. It's the sort of pixelation or circle pixelation, if you will. You know, I mean, their work is actually very good when we have like full information about what's going on. I think I may have clicked on Biophilia. No, that's a different one. So Biophilia series is a macro series that explores the relationship between people and our carbon-breathing neighbors. The web window and branch symbolize our mutualistic entanglement with the natural world. The composition merges analog and digital techniques. You see, it's got that like Windows 98 look to it. Here's the first key plant and how we digitized it. Then you can view the final videos here. Below are some compressed GIFs. What are these? Are these minted foundation video? I realize digitization might not have been the good project to look at. But it was actually very nice. It has again like that nostalgic like technology element of the work is so successful actually. Yeah, I legitimately think they need to add their website to their work to their sorry to their Twitter because it's way too good. Like, come on. I had to find this through scrolling at just one piece. I didn't even know this website existed, right? And unfortunately, some of these, again, the random discrepancy with foundation now, or at least like historical discrepancy, and this might work out in the end towards our luck, right? This is all under the foundation collection. So it has a Biomaster collection, right? But if you say view on Etherscan, it's token number 9000 whatever on the foundation token, right? And so it do be like that, but again, it might work out in our favor essentially because of historical provenance that we have this artist also has these pieces minted before collections on foundations ever launched, you know. So that's sort of like the nice kick of it. It's like, hey, yo, listen, hey, would you look at that, you know? But yeah, like, no cell coverage. Other work is actually very highly conceptual, and it's like the juxtaposition that happens within all their works between like real life plants and elements and insects, um, and sort of the digital aesthetic they utilize is actually quite nice. It's very visually pleasing. Like, again, this is like one of the things, right? Because we don't have a lot of information, at least about what these are. Right? It's just like the aesthetic is just so nice, and the bloom. It's like you can tell that the animals and the insects and the flowers are like the actual color, right? you can see like, oh, that butterfly does, like, it has iridescent parts in its or, or the shiny parts, if you will, in the, what is it, in its wings, you know. So yeah, it's very nice, very good work. Good name. I guess digitization wasn't the the full thing to start looking at with the work. It was just to go back and like look at the earlier one, because this is ongoing. Although it's ongoing, you know, I guess the wiki itself will include more information. But again, a part of me really wishes that information would have been included from the game. But it is what it is. Anyways, we have reached the end of today's sort of breakdown. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed it. Um, I certainly have. We try to do these every week. You may have noticed there's no artist talk this week. I think everybody's just super busy coming back, getting back in the drive of New Year's and stuff. Um, and so yeah, we definitely have been. We have. I'm trying to get Billy, the Metakey art director, for a talk, because we had recorded a few talks for the Metacrew before it had launched, but unfortunately, um, when Metakey would release new Metacrew updates, it would essentially spoil the whole talk, because the account would release the photos Billy would show me on stream, and so we never got to release it. And it essentially, like, every week or every 2 weeks would, or like every recording we had done within 2 or 3 weeks, it would essentially become decrepit, and I'd be like, oh. So hopefully that gets uploaded and finished by next week. I think it would be cool when we actually get to see what Billy is currently working on for the Metacrew, you know, the 3D stuff, the game, the concept art stuff, right? Before he was fully dedicated to like getting the PFPs done for the Metacrew, the algorithm for all of that, and that stuff we'll talk about a little bit now that he's had a break from all that jazz. Um, get to hopefully see some sneak peeks, but yeah, and then now we'll just be doing our normal thing, breakdowns and Sunday streams. I'm trying to get a few things going. I won't spoil them too much just because they're not fully set in stone, and I have learned from some of my early mistakes, and just so yeah. But keep I guess stay tuned for more updates. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's little artist breakdown stream. I certainly did. If you'd like to get in contact with me, tag me in the Metakey Discord and the Duat Residency channel over there, and I'll respond to you. Or if you'd like to get in contact with me on socials, just tag me at Anubis_3100, and I'll respond to you over there. And I will see you guys on the Sunday stream. Have a good one. Bye.